Welcome back, coaches. Today we're diving into something you'll find valuable for your coaching journey, hypnotic communication. We'll be exploring Trance-Formations by Richard Bandler and John Grinder, the pioneers of Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Think of this deep dive as a shortcut to understanding how to use language in a way that creates profound shifts for your clients and helps you build a thriving practice.
What's fascinating about Bandler and Grinder's work is they built on the techniques of Milton H. Erickson, a renowned hypnotherapist. They essentially took his methods and created a system for understanding the structure of language and how it influences human behavior.
I think a lot of us, when we hear the word hypnosis, we might picture a stage show or someone swinging a pocket watch. But in coaching, it's about using language more effectively to guide someone into a state where they're more open to change and new possibilities.
Exactly. Any communication that influences someone's thinking or behavior can be considered a form of hypnosis. What Bandler and Grinder did was decode the patterns of language. That made communication truly impactful, allowing us to use these patterns consciously and ethically to help our clients achieve incredible transformations.
So it's not about controlling people or making them do things against their will. It's about understanding how language works and using it skillfully to facilitate positive change. Where do we even begin with all of this? What are some fundamental tools we can start using in our coaching sessions?
One of the simplest yet most effective techniques is called pacing and leading. It's all about meeting your client where they are, both physically and mentally. You start by mirroring their behavior, their breathing posture, even their language patterns. This creates an unconscious sense of rapport, like you're speaking their language and understanding their world.
I'm already seeing how powerful this could be for building trust and connection, especially in those initial coaching sessions. It's like saying, I see you, I hear you, I get you.
Exactly. And once you've established that connection, you can subtly start to lead them into a different state, one that's more conducive to change. For example, if your client is anxious, you might unconsciously match their rapid breathing at first. Then as you continue talking, you gradually slow down your breathing and your speech, creating a calming effect.
It's fascinating how subtle shifts in our behavior can have such a profound impact on our clients. It's like gently guiding them into a calmer, more receptive space where they can access their own inner resources for change.
Precisely. And another technique to amplify your impact is analog marking. It's a way of emphasizing specific words or phrases to deliver unconscious suggestions. Imagine you're working with a client who's feeling unmotivated. You might say, as you consider the possibilities, you might find yourself feeling incredibly energized and excited about taking action. By subtly shifting your voice tone or using a gesture when you say energized and excited, you're anchoring those feelings in their subconscious mind.
So it's like we're highlighting those key words and phrases. That will help them shift their state and move towards the outcomes they desire. And I can see how this could be effective for installing new beliefs and behaviors.
Absolutely. And speaking of subtle influence, let's talk about embedded commands. This technique involves hiding suggestions within larger sentences. It's a way of bypassing the conscious mind and speaking directly to the unconscious. For example, you might say to a client who's procrastinating, as you sit here listening to me, you might realize that taking even small steps can create massive momentum towards your goals. Notice how taking even small steps is embedded in the sentence, delivering that suggestion to their unconscious mind.
It's like we're planting seeds of possibility without them even realizing it. Their conscious mind might not even register the command, but their unconscious will absorb it. Are there any other techniques to guide our clients into a more receptive state, a state where those suggestions take root and flourish?
Absolutely. There are a variety of inductive techniques that help create that state of heightened suggestibility. One that's interesting is a leverage induction. It involves capitalizing on naturally occurring trance states, moments when your client is already in a heightened state of receptivity.
So we're not trying to force them into a trance. We're simply noticing those moments when they're already more open to suggestion and using those moments to our advantage.
Exactly. Think about those times when you're so engrossed in a conversation that your arm might become stiff without you realizing it. That's arm catalepsy, a naturally occurring trance state. In that moment, you could say, and as your arm remains comfortably still, you might find yourself feeling a wave of relaxation spreading throughout your body. You're linking their existing physical state to a desired emotional state, deepening their trance experience.
I love how we're using what's already happening to amplify the hypnotic effect. It's like we're partnering with their unconscious mind to create these powerful shifts. And this reminds me of something else Bandler and Grinder talk about, pattern interruption. It's almost like a mini induction itself.
That's a great point. Pattern interruption involves disrupting a habitual behavior to create a moment of openness and suggestibility. It's like hitting the pause button on their autopilot. A classic example is the handshake interruption. You start to shake someone's hand and then subtly interrupt the movement, creating a momentary break in their usual pattern.
Right, I've seen that done before. And it's fascinating to observe how people respond. It's like for a split second, their conscious mind is trying to figure out what happened, creating a window to introduce a new idea or suggestion. It's almost like they're more likely to follow your lead because they've been jolted out of their usual way of thinking.
Exactly. And sometimes we might want to engage multiple senses simultaneously to create that heightened state of suggestibility.
Are we talking about sensory overload?
Yes. Sensory overload can be a powerful induction technique. It involves engaging multiple senses to overwhelm the conscious mind, making the unconscious more receptive. Imagine describing a vivid scene while playing soothing music and having the client hold a smooth stone. The combination of visual, auditory, and kinesthetic stimulation can create a state where their conscious mind surrenders control, allowing the unconscious to take over.
Wow, it's like their conscious mind says, all right, unconscious mind, you take the wheel.
Yeah.
And once we've achieved that shift in consciousness, we can really start to work with their unconscious mind to create lasting change. Okay, This is all starting to make sense. But I'm curious about something else Bandler and Grinder mentioned. Stacked realities. What exactly are stacked realities? And how can we use them in our coaching?
Stacked realities involve weaving stories within stories, blurring the lines between what's real and what's imagined. It's like creating a labyrinth of narratives. That leads the client into a trance state, where they're more open to suggestion. Imagine you're coaching a client who struggles with confidence. You could start by telling a story about a fictional character who overcomes their fear and achieves great success. Within that story, you introduce another story, and then another reason, each one nesting within the previous one. As you weave these tales, you're subtly guiding the client into a trance state, where they're more receptive to absorbing the message of empowerment.
Okay, so instead of just telling one story, we're creating this multi-layered experience that draws them in and allows them to access those deeper levels of their mind where transformation can occur. It's like we're bypassing their conscious filters and speaking directly to their unconscious potential. This is incredible. But what happens after we've guided our clients into that receptive state? How do we actually utilize that state to create lasting change? That's what I'm eager to learn more about.
That's a great question. And that's where the real magic of hypnotic communication unfolds. But before we dive into the utilization techniques, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll explore how to put that trance state to work, guiding your client toward powerful and lasting transformation. Stay tuned. Welcome back, coaches. We've laid the groundwork by exploring those techniques for guiding someone into a more receptive state. Now let's delve into the utilization techniques, the strategies we can use to actually create lasting change. It's one thing to create a state of heightened suggestibility, but the real skill lies in knowing how to use that state to guide the client towards their desired outcomes.
Okay, I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty of how to make this happen. What are some of those utilization techniques that we can start integrating into our coaching sessions?
One of the most powerful approaches is called process instructions. Instead of giving direct advice, you guide the client's unconscious mind to explore and discover solutions on its own. Think of it as empowering their own inner wisdom to emerge.
I love that idea of tapping into their own inner wisdom. It's so much more empowering than just telling them what to do. But what does that look like in practice? What kind of language can we use to facilitate that process?
Imagine you're working with a client who's struggling with a particular challenge. Instead of offering solutions, you could ask, what would it feel like to have that problem completely disappear? Or, if your unconscious mind had a message for you right now, what would it be? These open-ended questions bypass the conscious mind and invite the client to tap into their own deep well of resources.
It's like we're giving them permission to access their own inner genius, to find the answers that are already within them. And I can see how this could be incredibly powerful for creating those aha moments, where they suddenly see things from a new perspective and find solutions they hadn't even considered before.
Exactly. And sometimes clients get so caught up in problem solving that they lose sight of the bigger picture, their dreams, their aspirations, their true potential. That's where generative change comes in. It's about helping them move beyond just fixing problems and create a life that's truly fulfilling, a life that's aligned with their values and their deepest desires.
This is what coaching is all about, isn't it? Helping people create lives they love, not just lives that are free from problems. But how do we guide them towards that generative change? What kind of questions can we ask? to spark that shift in their thinking?
It starts with recognizing that they already possess the resources and abilities they need to achieve their goals. It's about helping them access those hidden strengths and apply them in new and exciting ways. You might ask questions like, what would it look like to live a life that truly lights you up? Or what talents and passions have you been neglecting that could lead you to even greater fulfillment?
Those are powerful questions. They shift the focus from limitations to possibilities, from surviving to thriving. It's about helping them create something new and beautiful, not just fixing what's broken.
And this reminds me of another NLP technique that I think could be incredibly useful here. Reframing.
Absolutely. Reframing is all about changing the meaning of an experience. It's about helping clients see things from a new perspective, one that empowers them rather than limits them. For example, let's say you have a client who views their fear of failure as a debilitating weakness. You could reframe that fear as a sign that they deeply care about their work and are committed to doing their best. It's about highlighting the positive intention behind a behavior and then exploring more empowering ways to achieve that desired outcome.
It's like we're taking something they perceive as negative and turning it into a source of strength and motivation. And I can see how this could be transformative for shifting beliefs and behaviors, especially when those beliefs and behaviors are holding them back from achieving their full potential. And for those deeper, more profound transformations, there's a technique called deep trance identification. In this technique, you guide the client to step into the shoes of someone who embodies the qualities they desire. It could be a role model, a historical figure, or even a fictional character.
So they're essentially borrowing the confidence and competence of that other person. It's like giving them a temporary superpower.
Right.
That allows them to experience what it feels like to be bold, courageous, and successful.
Exactly. By embodying the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors of someone they admire, they can access new perspectives and beliefs. It's like giving them a taste of what's possible and showing them that they too can achieve great things. And as we've been discussing, hypnotic communication is all about leveraging the power of language to create positive and lasting change. But it's essential to approach these techniques with awareness and sensitivity.
You mentioned potential concerns earlier, like abreactions and amnesia.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate a bit more on those? I want to make sure we're using these techniques ethically and responsibly.
Of course, an abreaction is a negative reaction. That might occur during hypnosis, though it's quite rare. It's important to create a safe and supportive environment for your clients and to emphasize that they're always in control.
So we're not trying to manipulate or control them in any way. We're simply guiding them towards their own desired outcomes, respecting their autonomy and their boundaries.
Precisely. And as for amnesia, while it's a phenomenon that can sometimes occur during hypnosis, it's not a necessary or desired outcome. Our focus should be on empowering clients with conscious awareness and choice, not on wiping their memories. The goal is to help them understand and integrate the changes they're making, not to create a sense of mystery or confusion.
That makes perfect sense. So it's about guiding them, not controlling them. It's about empowering them to make conscious choices that align with their values and their goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you become more skilled in hypnotic communication, you'll develop an intuitive sense of which techniques are most appropriate for each client and situation. It's like becoming a master chef, knowing which ingredients to use and how to combine them to create a delicious and satisfying meal.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of mastery, how can we know if these techniques are actually working? What signs should we look for?
Pay attention to your client's nonverbal cues. Are they becoming more relaxed? Are their breathing patterns changing? Do their eyes look glazed over? These can be subtle indicators that they're entering a more receptive state.
So it's about being attuned to their physical responses, those subtle shifts in their body language that tell us they're opening up to new possibilities.
Exactly. And you can also ask questions like, how are you feeling right now? Or what's happening internally as you think about that? Their answers will give you valuable insights into their state of consciousness.
It's about being a keen observer and a compassionate listener, noticing not just what they're saying, but how they're saying it. And how their body is responding.
Precisely. And always remember that hypnosis is a collaborative process. It's not about you imposing your will on the client, but rather about working together to create positive and lasting change.
Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground on utilization techniques. We've explored how to use language to empower clients, to tap into their inner wisdom, and to guide them towards those aha moments where transformation occurs. But I'm curious, how can we use these techniques to not only transform our clients' lives, but also build a thriving coaching practice? After all, we need to make sure our business is sustainable so we can continue doing this work we love.
That's a great question, and that's exactly what we'll be exploring. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll uncover how hypnotic communication can help you attract your ideal clients, build a strong brand, and create a business that's both profitable and fulfilling.
I can't wait. This has been an incredible journey so far, and I'm excited to see where we go next.
Stay tuned, coaches, because the best is yet to come.
Welcome back, coaches. We've explored hypnotic communication techniques, from building rapport to guiding clients into those transformative states, where change becomes possible. Now let's talk about how we can leverage these techniques to create a coaching business that not only makes a difference, but also thrives in the marketplace.
It's exciting to see how these powerful communication strategies can be applied not just in our coaching sessions, but also in how we present ourselves to the world and attract our ideal clients.
Right. We've all heard the saying, build it and they will come. But in coaching, it's not that simple. We need to be savvy about marketing ourselves and communicating the value of what we offer. How can hypnotic language help us stand out in a crowded market and attract clients who are truly ready for transformation?
One of the keys is to speak directly to the desires and aspirations of your ideal client. Instead of just listing your credentials or the techniques you use, paint a picture of the transformation they're longing for. Think about the language you use on your website, in your social media posts, even in your email signature.
So instead of saying, I'm a certified life coach, we might say, imagine waking up every day, feeling energized and excited about the possibilities.
Exactly. You're inviting them to step into a future where they've already achieved their desired outcomes. You're speaking to their subconscious mind, planting those seeds of possibility and creating a sense of intrigue that draws them in.
It's like we're weaving a spell with our words,
Yeah.
creating a magnetic pull that attracts those clients who are ready to embrace the magic of transformation. And once we've piqued their interest, how could we use hypnotic language to build rapport quickly and create that foundation of trust that's essential for a successful coaching relationship?
Pacing and leading is your secret weapon here. Remember, it's all about subtly mirroring your client's energy, breathing, and language patterns to create that unconscious sense of connection. When they feel like you understand them, they're more likely to open up and embrace your guidance.
It's like speaking their language on both a conscious and subconscious level, creating a yes cascade in their minds. That sets the stage for transformation. Okay, so we've attracted our ideal clients. We've established rapport. Now it's time to help them get results. How can hypnotic language help us boost client motivation and inspire them to take action towards their goals?
This is where embedded commands and process instructions can be incredibly effective. Remember, with embedded commands, you're subtly weaving suggestions for action into your coaching conversations. You might say, as we continue exploring your vision, you might find yourself feeling inspired to take those first steps. You're bypassing their conscious resistance and speaking directly to their unconscious desire for change.
It's like giving their subconscious mind a gentle nudge in the right direction, planting those seeds of motivation that will blossom into action. And with process instructions, we're essentially empowering them to find their own solutions, right?
Exactly. Instead of giving direct advice, you're guiding their unconscious mind to explore possibilities and uncover the answers that are already within them. You might ask, what would it feel like to have that problem completely disappear? Or, if your unconscious mind had a message for you right now, what would it be? These open-ended questions invite them to tap into their own inner wisdom and discover solutions that are uniquely theirs.
It's fascinating how we can use language to create that shift from external authority to inner knowing. We're not telling them what to do, we're helping them discover their own path. And I imagine this is particularly powerful when clients hit those inevitable roadblocks or experience those moments of self-doubt that can sabotage their progress.
Absolutely. This is where reframing and deep trance identification can be game changers. Reframing helps them shift their perspective and see challenges as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing obstacles as failures, they begin to see them as stepping stones on their journey. And with deep trance identification, we're essentially helping them access the confidence and resources they need to overcome those challenges.
It's like we're giving them a toolkit for transformation, equipping them with the mindset and the beliefs they need to navigate the inevitable ups and downs of their journey. Okay, so we've talked about attracting clients, building rapport, boosting motivation, and facilitating breakthroughs. But there's one crucial piece we haven't addressed: sales.
Ah, yes, the S word. Many coaches feel uncomfortable talking about money, but it's an essential part of a sustainable business. And the good news is hypnotic language can help you create a sales process that feels natural, authentic, and even empowering for both you and your clients.
So we're not talking about sleazy sales tactics or
Yeah.
pressuring clients into saying yes. It's about creating a win-win scenario where they're genuinely excited to invest in their transformation.
Yeah.
And we're able to create a business that allows us to continue doing this work we love.
Exactly. One powerful technique is called future pacing. Imagine guiding your client into a future where they've already achieved their desired outcome. You might ask, imagine waking up a year from now feeling proud of all you've accomplished. How will your life be different? What will you be celebrating? By helping them experience the positive emotions associated with their success, you're creating a powerful pull towards investing in your program.
It's like giving them a taste of the incredible future that awaits them. And suddenly the investment feels small for that transformation.
Precisely. And when objections arise, view them as opportunities to deepen the conversation and address their underlying concerns. Instead of pushing back, lean in and explore their hesitation with curiosity and empathy.
It's about acknowledging their concerns and then reframing them in a way that highlights the value of what we offer. It's about creating a sense of alignment and shared understanding that makes the decision to say yes feel like a natural next step.
Exactly. And as you become more skilled in using hypnotic language, you'll find that those sales conversations become more effortless and enjoyable. You'll be able to guide your clients towards the decision that feels good for both of you.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I'm so inspired to integrate these hypnotic communication techniques into every aspect of my coaching practice. It's like we've been given a secret code to unlock human potential, both for ourselves and for our clients.
And the most important thing is to remember, this is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself, experiment with these techniques, and most importantly, have fun.
Yes, it's like we're learning a new dance.
Yeah.
And with practice, we'll be gliding across the dance floor, guiding our clients towards transformative experiences with grace and ease. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of hypnotic communication.
And remember, coaches, keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep creating the change you want to see in the world.